putting up big numbers of late. Josh Hamilton, you see what he's done at home the last 14 ball games. Michael Young in the month of May. We'll show you Nelson Cruz and how he has torn it up as well. A .432 batting average at home, and we could go on and on. Kinsler, Guerrero, Andrews. The Rangers are in first place for a reason. And yes, taking on the Cubs this weekend. The Cubs are not in first place, and as you may know, it's been a long time since they've made it to anything close to a World Series. Along with Tom Grieve, Josh Lewin, welcome to Texas Rangers Baseball tonight. Let's reintroduce everybody to the Chicago Cubs. You know their story at least a little bit. It's been since 1908 since they've won anything of value. But for this year, 2010, they have designs on doing some things that might make them okay.
Yeah, they do. And they've got a good team. They're not off to a great start. They're 19-23. But they've played a lot of close games, and they haven't had success in the close games. 23 games have been decided by 2 or fewer runs, and they're 8-15 in those games. That generally tells you that they're a better team than the way they're playing. Derek Lee, Aramis Ramirez have not gotten hot yet in the middle of the lineup. Those are 2 of their key players. Marlon Byrd, though, the former Ranger, he's been probably their best player so far.
That number at the bottom, though, those 100-odd seasons since a World Series. Lou Piniella was going gray before that, and it's not really his fault, obviously, but Lou Piniella is now in charge of these guys, and yeah, they want to be better than under 500. Marlon Byrd has been a nice addition for them, popular Ranger for a few years here, and it's nice to have him back in Arlington tonight. It's the Rangers, and yup, the Chicago Cubs when we come back on TX 821. Check, check. Ball being brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Also by Standard Insurance. Call 1-800-929-2424. And by AT&T. See what's new from AT&T. Visit att.com for details. Warm night, nice night, and Colby Lewis gets a chance to pitch against the Chicago Cubs, who are in at 19-23, 5 games back. And already a lot of conversation in Chicago about what they need to do to get better and finally get to a World Series for the first time since 1945. Kosuke Fukudome leads it off. Ryan Theriot, the second of 2 310 hitters in a row for Lou Piniella. Derek Lee, and then the former Rangers, Soriano and Bird. Marlon Bird having a wonderful first season as a Cub. Fontenot and Nady, Soto and Castro, who's only 20 years old and has been in the big leagues about 2 weeks now. As for the Cobra, Colby Lewis has come back from Japan, has reinvented himself here in these United States, and is having a very solid go-around here for the Texas Rangers.
He's one of the toughest pitchers to hit in the American League, a 197 opponent's batting average. His numbers are great. 51 innings, only 37 hits, more than a strikeout per inning. He's 5th in the league in strikeouts. Most of the guys, in fact, all of the guys ahead of him have had one more start. Throws a lot of first pitch strikes. Probably his worst start was his last start. That was in Toronto. 5 2/3. He only gave up 3 hits, but he walked 4 batters in that game and ended up giving up 5 runs.
The Cubs had won 4 straight until yesterday. They lost in Philadelphia. The Rangers now have won 4 straight. Put up 13 runs yesterday. And they begin tonight with a 4-game lead in the AL West. Here's a hard foul by Kosuke Fukudome to start things tonight. The second ever trip for the Cubs here to the ballpark in Arlington. They were here in 2007. The Rangers won 2 out of 3. The Rangers have only made 1 trip to Wrigley. They won 2 out of 3 in 2002. Fukudome did not face Colby Lewis in Japan. He was on his way here to the States, was Fukudome, as Colby was packing up to head off to Hiroshima. But for a while, you had a strange thing. You had the Bakersfield, California native, Colby Lewis, pitching in Japan. You had Fukudome hanging out in Chicago. In for a strike, 3-2.
Fukudome is having a good year this year. His first 2 years have been pretty mediocre, really. He's hit 257, 259, knocked in 58, 54 runs. That's not what they were looking for when they signed him. But he's having a better year this year. He's a guy that always walks. He's walked an average of about 86 times the last 2 years. And this year he's hitting over 300. His on-base percentage is over 40%. On pace to have more home runs than he's had as a Cub in his 3rd year with the Cubs.
Yeah, he's already got 6. He had 1 yesterday off Antonio Bastardo in Philly. Eighth pitch of this at bat to Fukudome.
That's a pretty tough pitch to foul off after 2 3-2 fastballs. He gets a hard breaking ball down and in and fouled it off. It's frustrating at bat right here if you're the pitcher, because he's made some good pitches to him and he's still hanging in there. Make you throw 9 pitches at least.
And he earns the walk. Colby had back-to-back 1-2-3 first innings the last 2 starts. Now he's going to have to work a little bit tonight. Murphy, Hamilton, and Cruz in the Ranger outfield. Young, Andrews, Kinsler, and Smoke in the infield, and Max Ramirez gets to start behind the plate. Justin Smoke had the night off last night, at least for the first 7 innings. Again, the Rangers winning 13-7 in a game that featured 44 base runners and took about 3 3/4 hours to play. The Rangers had their first 20-hit game in 2 years. And a lot of fun stuff to talk about tonight, Tag, as we come on the air. The 4-game win streak, the 4-game lead in the AL West. The Rangers are a season high 6 games over 500 right now.
Well, the Rangers have definitely turned it around since the Toronto series where they were swept. They've come back home and won 4 straight.
A bunt. It's a good one. Max Ramirez whips it to first in time to get Terrio.
Well, Terrio was bunting for a base hit, but he'll probably end up with a sacrifice right there.
They call him the Riot because that's what it says right on the back of his jersey. Terrio, it's pronounced, but if you put a space in there, it is the Riot. And the Riot has moved up Fukudome, a chance for Derek Lee to hit. Lee had a home run yesterday, his first in about 4 weeks. It's been a disappointing year for him so far. In fact, if you look at the 3 and 4 spots in the Chicago batting order this year, now they moved Soriano to clean up tonight, so it won't look that bad, but out of the 3 and 4 spots in the order this year, Tag, their team batting average is .235. That's supposed to be your thump.
The one thing that you have to remember is it's only a quarter of the way through the season, and strange things can happen over 35 or 40 games that are out of the ordinary. Generally, things start to take shape halfway through the season, and by the end of the year, most guys are around where you would normally expect them to
be. Lewis gets ahead of Lee, 1 and 2 more. Japanese League connections. Lee's dad played in Japan for quite a while. And on deck, Alfonso Soriano. A lot of people forget that Soriano began in the Japanese leagues. The same team that Colby pitched for, Hiroshima, actually has an academy in the Dominican. And Soriano began his professional career just well, kind of like Colby, talking about life as a Hiroshima Carp. That's down and no swing, according to Dale Scott.
I think he could have got him to swing at it if he threw it a little closer to the strike zone. Lee started his swing but was able to stop, and the pitch was way out of the strike zone. If it was a borderline pitch, I think he might have swung at it.
Does he lay off again? He does. 2 on, 1 out. And Colby has already walked more batters on May 20th here in 2010 than he did in all of 2009 back in Japan.
He definitely stopped his swing in time. He was tempted, but not committed.
Now with 2 on, the former Ranger Alfonso Soriano, the guy the Rangers got in the deal for Alex Rodriguez. What an interesting last several years it's been for Soriano. It was a couple of years with the Rangers. He put up some real nice numbers. 2005, 36 homers and 30 steals. Then he went off to Washington and he did even better. 46 home runs and 41 steals. A 40-40 season where they said it couldn't be done. Old RFK Stadium in D.C.
Soriano went to Washington and learned how to play left field. Didn't want to do that at first. Frank Robinson got him to do it. So he basically can do one of two things: play left field or go home. And he said, well, I think I'll play left field then.
Had Soriano agreed to play left field here with the Rangers, well, a lot of things might have been different when you write the Rangers history.
You never know.
On 1 and 2, Soriano just dribbles it foul. Down year for Soriano big time last year. Not a 40-40 season. It was a 20/9 season for Soriano, and the defense wasn't real good. The batting average was only .241. But a nice bounce back here in 2010. Already 22 pitches for Lewis here in the first. The number 23 is inside, full count.
You know, he's trying to make the perfect pitch, but sometimes you give the hitters a little too much credit and get behind and throw a lot of pitches. The breaking ball's plenty good to throw it for a strike and get them out.
Taken! Strike three.
Tipped it.
Yep, it just barely glanced off the bat. Marlon Byrd will come up now. 2 on, 2 out.
I don't know if he actually swung at this ball. He might have checked his swinging time. But I thought the umpire indicated that he tipped it. Let's see.
That was the indication, but I didn't see it actually hit the bat. Did you?
I didn't notice it, but yeah, the umpire definitely said that he tipped it. That's one you know whether you tipped it or not. So he's upset that it happened, but he's not going to argue the call.
Well, here's the first time in a long time that Marlon Byrd has stepped into this batter's box and nobody's flapping their arms.
That was a good idea. Throw him a breaking ball and not a fastball on the first pitch, because Marlon, I'm sure, is pumped up coming back here and probably looking fastball all the way on the first pitch.
I'm sorry, Tom, about 1,300 at bats for Marlon as a Ranger. Very popular player.
Marlon's been up 160 times. He's only walked 4 times. But he makes good contact. He only struck out 23 times. Kobe's got him to chase a couple of breaking balls way out of the strike zone.
Now, one former Ranger has already struck out with 2 on. That's Soriano. And now Byrd is in range as well.
When you see a guy with 4 walks and 160 at bats, basically a walk every 10 games. Just do not throw him a strike. Eventually, you're going to get him to swing.
Of course, Marlon and Rudy Jaramillo both went from the Rangers to the Cubs. We'll talk a lot this weekend, I'm sure, about the return of Rudy. Still wearing the red and the blue, but there's a C on his hat now instead of a T. Inside to Byrd. And getting close to a 30-pitch first inning now for Colby. Full count.
He's just too far out of the strike zone. Those breaking balls to Lee and that breaking ball to Marlon right there are just too far away to get the hitter to swing at him. You just got to bring it a little closer to the plate and you'll get him to swing.
Runners will get going. Byrd is down on strikes.
He's only walked 4 times. You'll get him to swing. You just got to give him something to swing at.
2 men left, and now here come the Rangers. That 30 pitch, top of the first. Now the Rangers lineup. They're up against the lefty Ted Lilly tonight. Elvis Andrus now hitting .324. Everybody, it seems, is hitting somewhere around there right now. Michael Young, Kinsler, there's Guerrero at .342. Josh Hamilton, the birthday boy, in at .284. Nelson Cruz up to .330. Murphy, Smoke, and Ramirez rounded out. And Theodore Roosevelt Lilly is on the mound. 1 win, 3 losses, ERA of 4.65. He missed pretty much all of spring training, Tom, coming back from an offseason procedure on his shoulder.
Yeah, he's been very consistent for the Cubs. He's been a really good pitcher. He's won 15 games, 17 games, and 12 games for the Cubs. Hasn't pitched that well in our ballpark, 1-3. Given up 6 home runs in 32 innings here. One thing he does have is very good control. You are very unlikely to see him walk 2 guys in the first inning. He's only walked 7 all year. And since the start of '09, he's walked less than 2 per 9 innings. One of the better control pitchers in the league. He's won 10 or more games for 7 straight years. There's a good changeup. Sneaky fastball now. Curveball. A little bit of deception in his delivery, too. You'll see him stand straight up, kind of pause, turn his back to the hitter, and then come forward with his pitch. Hides the ball well. Makes his fastball appear to be a little quicker than the radar gun will indicate.
From that third base side of the rubber, we'll bounce one up here to Elvis. We were talking about this yesterday, Tom. This is the first major league game that Elvis is not the youngest shortstop on the field. A lot of Cubs fans now get to experience what Ranger fans did last year with a young shortstop. There is Starlin Castro, who was only 20. And Cub fans were all anxious about, boy, how can we survive with a 20-year-old shortstop? Well, the Texas Rangers did that. They didn't just survive, they thrived. Andrews sails one to right. And Fukudome will grab it for the out. Fukudome out there with the 2 former Rangers, Soriano and Bird. And again in the infield, Castro is the guy we'll really keep an eye on tonight. Fontenot and Terrio were teammates at LSU, by the way. Lilly works to Giovanni Soto. And Ted Lilly, we should also mention, I guess, Tom, is an extreme fly ball pitcher. That's dangerous when you play half your games at Wrigley. But in '08 and '09 anyway, walks were down, like you mentioned, strikeouts were up. Kind of the Ferguson-Jenkins plan. And he did very well for the Cubs and for the Rangers. Michael Young with a foul. Michael hitting .382 this month of May. And as he's gotten hot, so have the Rangers. The Rangers' last 3 Mays now really have played their best baseball.
And Michael's gotten hot. Ian has gotten back in the lineup. That's been a huge difference, having those 2 guys hitting second and third. Getting Nelly Cruz back off the disabled list makes a big difference.
Yeah, Kinsler and Cruz, who combined for 63 homers last year. This is only the 4th game all year, Tom, that they're playing at the same time here at this ballpark.
And I think that's going to make a huge difference as far as the lineup goes, to have the guys in the lineup that you want in the lineup.
Down to Michael, 2-2. It does make it tough to make an apples-to-apples comparison between '09 and this year, knowing that Kinsler missed all of April and Nelson Cruz missed about 4 weeks also. Michael continues to pound fouls to the right side. A growing crowd here. Can only imagine there must have been some traffic stacked up coming in on a Friday night, but minute by minute the crowd gets bigger and bigger. Another foul to the right side. Fireworks after the game tonight, so certainly the big crowd was expected. It always helps the home gate when the visiting team is the Chicago Cubs.
Well, we're going to see that for 3 straight days, and that's a good thing. Hopefully we'll have 3 very exciting ball games to go along with it.
If the Cubs were a college, you'd say they travel well.
Yep. They'd always be invited to a bowl game, even if they were 6-6.
And 6-6 is usually a good year for the Cubs, unfortunately. 102 years and counting. It was Branch Rickey that once said there is an artistry to ineptitude. I know he was not speaking of the Cubs, but it's amazing how many times they've come close, and it just hasn't happened. Long at bat, Michael Young wins out. Fantastic. One foul ball after another, and finally the single in the left center.
Well, Michael's in this kind of a groove. He's tough to get out because he does just what he did in that at bat. Lilly really didn't throw him a lot of good pitches to hit, but he fouled off a bunch of them. So he threw him an off-speed pitch, looked like a little cutter on the outside corner, barely caught the corner. And Michael reaches out and strokes it into left center. Marlin was playing him in right center, where I think a lot of center fielders play Michael. But when it's an off-speed pitch, he's got a better chance to pull it.
10 pitch at bat, and now here's Kinsler. Modest little 5-game hitting streak going for Ian. Two 2-0 with Vlad Guerrero on deck. Vlad has just been crushing left-hand pitching this year. Love the chance to hit with a couple men on. .449 batting average against lefties for Vlad. Inside. Vladdy might get a shot. Taking, and it's a strike. Oh, it was a 30-pitch top of the first. Already a 20-pitch bottom of the first inning for Lilly.
Yeah, that's unusual for Lilly. Rangers are making him throw a lot of pitches early in the ballgame. That's a good thing. Cubs bullpen has been a struggle this year. No problem. We got 3 to take right there. Threw a couple of strikes, make him throw 3 in a row. And it's a borderline pitch. You don't see that called that much.
Soto went down, and
yeah, we'll keep an eye on that tonight.
On 3-2. Runner not going. That is inside. 2 on for Vlad Guerrero.
That's a patient at bat. Took the 3-1 pitch. Made Lilly try to throw 3 straight strikes. He couldn't do it. Now you got a couple of men on for Vlad. Right-hand hitters have actually had a tougher time against Lilly than left-handed hitters. Right-hand hitters are only hitting .228 against Lilly. Left-handed hitters much higher. His opponent's batting average is .252.
Vladimir Guerrero came into this year with exactly 7,000 at-bats. He had 420 doubles, 407 home runs, slugging percentage that was one of the top 15 of all time. Ahead of guys like Stan Musial and Frank Thomas, within reach of Joe DiMaggio. And as a Ranger, all he's done is pump those numbers up from there.
And a lot of the teams over the last week or 10 days have been trying to throw him in, pounding him in with a fastball. And occasionally they have some success, but once he gets an idea of what they're doing to him, they're in trouble if they keep on doing it.
22 runs batted in the last 14 starts that he's had, and he works the count to 2-0. as much as Ladd salivates over the opportunity of knocking in a couple of runs, if not 3 right now. There he was taking the first 2. He will take again, and boy, Josh Hamilton might get himself a nice little birthday present, the chance to hit with the bases loaded.
Well, he's trying to get the ball in and make a pitch, but he's missing.
You turn him loose, 3-0?
It's Vlad. I think I would.
He takes
all the way. I pretty much let Vlad do his thing every pitch. You know, he's a smart player. He knows what he's doing up there.
Well, unconventional, yes.
Yep.
But again, I mean, he's got one of the top 15 on base percentages of all time. Why not? Let him go. 3-2 now.
Yeah, he's doing the same thing Ian did. Okay, it's 3-0. He throws a pitch near the inside corner. That's a strike. Then he throws a little cut fastball that touches somewhere near the outside corner. Neither one of them a good pitch to hit. See if he can throw you 3 straight like that. If he throws either one of those pitches again, Vlad's not going to take it with 2 strikes. But a good patient at bat makes Lilly throw his 28th pitch right here.
Lilly was an all-star last year and an ERA of about 3.
He's had quality starts in his last 2 starts, both 7-inning starts, both giving up 3 runs.
On 3-2. High drive from Vladimir Guerrero into left center field, but Soriano moving back will make the catch. Young tags, does not advance.
Oh, good job by Lilly there. He's behind 3-0, and he made 3 good pitches. He was aware that Vlad might swing 3-0 and didn't give him a good pitch. 3-1, the same thing. And then 3-2. Thought you threw him an off-speed pitch. Probably a strike, but down and in, and Vlad is a little bit out in front of it. That's pretty good pitching right there by Lilly. Come back from 3-0 and get Vlad.
Two on, 2 out for Hamilton. He's had himself quite a nice week, and it's been kind of the less is more approach that's gotten it done. He's been taking a lot early in counts. Worked that batting average from 250 to 284 this week. Look out, back goes helicoptering about 12 rows back behind the Ranger dugout.
Well, if everyone's okay, that's the #1 thing, but someone ended up with a nice souvenir. Players don't really ask for those back anymore. It used to be they'd bring over a different bat and want their game bat back, but most of the players have several of them game ready to begin with and don't even waste their time trying to get it back.
I can't decide if Giovanni Soto, we'll show him in just a moment after we see the bat fly from Hamilton.
Oh, good. Everybody got out of the way.
Does the catcher Soto look more like Spider-Man or a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle with that chest protector?
It actually looks like a pretty good target for the pitcher to aim at.
Yep, aim right for in between the red, I suppose you could say.
Well, Kobe had to work to get out of the first inning, and Lilly's having to do the same thing. Both of them had a couple of men on. Both of them right around 30 pitches. Kobe got Marlon Byrd to swing at a bad pitch.
Hamilton peels it into the crowd, so again a full count. 33 pitches, and he's only faced 5 batters.
Good job by the Rangers. Michael fouled off a number of pitches. They've taken almost anything that's close and not a strike. Well, the runners are going to be running right here. Drop one in there a little bit in the gap. He might score 2.
Once again, Spider-Man heads out there to talk to Ted Lilly. A long wait for Colby Lewis. After getting out of things in the top of the first, you're going to wait that long, might as well have some run support. Runners go. Strike 3 taken by Josh.
I don't think so.
Dan Iasanya said, yep, strike 3.
He's battling up there, trying to make sure you swing a good.
Sitting together, of all things. No scores. We go to the second tonight, and Julie Dobbs is standing by.
Yes, hi Josh. I'm here in the TXA 21 and Texas Rangers Foundation Community Corner with a very special guest. This is Elliot Goldman, and he is the founder of the greatest catalog ever. Is that correct?
Absolutely. The greatest gift catalog ever features 14 amazing organizations and 45 ways to support them.
And if somebody would like to get their hands on this greatest gift catalog ever, what do they need to do?
They need to go to the website at thegreatestgiftkatalogever.org or dial 817-922-8297. They can support wonderful organizations like Meals on Wheels, Guild Children's Services, the Tarrant Area Food Bank, the Union Gospel Mission. It's just fantastic.
It sounds awesome, and it looks like before the game, y'all were handed a giant check from the Texas Rangers Foundation. That must have been pretty cool.
It's wonderful. They gave us $500. We greatly appreciate them. It'll go to wonderful use.
All right. Sounds great. That's a great cause. Josh, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Julie. And that ball chipped in the air by Mike Fontenot. Fading and dropping. He was hardly running out of the batter's box at first. Didn't think that there was anything to that hit. And it is a double for Fontenot. Ranger fans, I'm sure, still frustrated and upset over that called third strike to Josh Hamilton to end the first.
Well, I don't blame him. The ball's about 6 inches outside. It would have been 35 pitches for Lilly, and then he would have had to face Nelly Cruz with the bases loaded and a chance to throw over 40 pitches. So it's a huge pitch. Elvis lifted up to look at the runner before he caught that ball. Otherwise, he might have been able to hold him to a single. You know, some pitches are just, one pitch, but that's more than one pitch. That pitch, that's a pitch that gets Lilly out of the inning and off the field instead of having to face Nelly Cruz with the bases loaded with a pitch total of around 34 or 35. So that bad call is pretty significant.
Yeah, 34 pitches, and the Rangers did not score. Xavier Nady will tag one foul. Nady has bounced around a little bit. Trying to settle in with the Chicago Cubs. Used as the DH tonight, something the Cubs don't have to worry about most of the time. American League ballpark, you play American League rules. You and I have talked about this one, Tom, and this is just a personal preference, I guess, for me. But, you know, to me, might as well, if you're going to go and swap it out like that, might as well play the DH rules in a National League park so the fans can see what that's like. And in the American League park, have the pitchers hit, just because we don't see that anymore here.
It'll be the exact same thing, because in interleague play, you play the same amount of games on the road as you do at home. So your pitchers are going to hit the same amount of times either way that you do it. And anything that is pleasing to the fans seems like the best way to go.
Nady crunches one to left. Fontenot comes around third. He'll be held. And his runners at the corners and nobody out. And deep count has a dangerous end. Giovanni Soto comes up next.
He's trying to throw the ball on the outside corner, and he split the center of the plate. Gabe Nady looking fastball all the way. Pretty good fastball to hit. And he hit it pretty well, too.
Now Giovanni Soto, who's got a .449 on base percentage, a byproduct of 29 walks already.
He leads the National League in walks.
Batting 8th in their order. I guess he gets pitched carefully too sometimes. They can pitch around to him to get to the pitcher. That won't be the case tonight. Soto played at 245 pounds last year. Got down to 205 this past January. Now it's settled in at 215. Which last year was his batting average, too. That's gone up here in 2010. 286. The infield, a double play depth. Count 1 and 2.
Yeah, everything went down for Soto last year. His average obviously went down, but his home run total was less than half the year before. His doubles were down just a little bit over half of what they were the year before. So all in all, it was a power outage, an average outage, and just a miserable year for him. But nice to see him bounce back and realize what he had to do to get there.
Last year was an epic disappointment for the Cubs. Soto had the down year, Soriano did, and we haven't even talked about Milton Bradley. They had him scheduled to knock in about 110 runs. He knocked in 40. On appeal. Nope. Well, a lot of full counts in this game, both sides. No, 78 pitches in this game, and only 6 outs.
Well, we talk about it every night, but it's pertinent every night that the Rangers starters just have to pitch deeper into ball games. They're throwing a lot of pitches. That's not the problem.
Double play ball. Run coming in as the Rangers turn 2 on the Cubs.
But they have to get their pitches to get them deeper into the game inning-wise, and a double play will certainly help you out. But if you're at 108 pitches, you've thrown a lot of pitches. But if you're only in the 6th inning and not out of the 6th inning or the 5th inning for that matter, you just put too much burden on the bullpen. And the Ranger bullpen has had a huge burden on it early in the year. So it's up to the starters to start being more efficient.
Elvis Andrus turns the 6-4-3 double play, and that's 2 quick outs for Colby, but the first run of the game is scored. Now the 20-year-old Starlin Castro. And we've done it, Tom. We've crossed the Rubicon here. There is now a player we can talk about in the majors that was born in the 1990s.
Wow, he's the only one, huh? I guess he would be as young as he is. Wow.
March of 1990. Two 2-0 the count to him.
Well, Castro, for a young hitter, he only struck out 5 times with 48 at bat, so he's making some pretty good contact.
There's contact. It's off the glove of Colby Lewis. And he throws. No way he should have thrown it.
That's just giving him an extra base. He missed the chance to get the out when he missed the ball, and then compounded it with a wild throw that puts a man in scoring position.
Castro reaches on an infield hit, and then it's an E1. The ball bouncing right by Justin Smoke. And Starlin Castro is close to a 400 hitter at the age of 20.
That was a pretty easy play for Colby. It was right on his glove hand. He just failed to make the ball go in the glove. You see Castro, when he threw that ball, was already by the bag.
You go error all the way on that?
That's big. I'd give him a base hit on it.
Kinsler's going to scoop this one up. And we'll find that out when we come back. It is a 1-0 lead for Chicago. Baseball brought to you by Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota moving forward. And by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. Nelson Cruz leads it off, and he hits the first one he sees on a big friendly hop to the shortstop Castro. 1 pitch, 1 out. That last hit, yeah, it was a hit for Starlin Castro, as it turns out, off of Colby Lewis's glove, and then he goes to second on the error. Moot point, didn't matter. That all came up after the Cubs already had a run in. Now the Rangers trying to go to work against Ted Lilly, who needed 34 pitches to get through the first.
And that 34th pitch was actually ball 4, so it should have been more than 34.
Yep, looked like Hamilton should have been rewarded for working that count. We have seen 6 full counts in this game already. Both starting pitchers being made to sweat. The Rangers have played exceptionally well in their own ballpark this year. Now 17-7. That's their best home record through 24 home games since the playoff year of '96. Big crowds have been turning out. First place feels good, no doubt about that. This Rangers team has only been in the playoffs 3 times. Last time, as you may know, 1999. The Cubs, they're getting to the playoffs now. That's the good news. You are well aware of the bad news. No World Series title since 1908. David Murphy bounces out.
Just looking at the standings, Rangers 17-7. That's the best home record in baseball.
It is.
Tampa Bay has the best record, home or road, 17-4 on the road.
Yeah, the Rays are 30-11 overall now. And Nolan Ryan's got to be proud of the fact that his guys weathered what they had to weather in April. Julio Borbon was demoted from number 1 to number 9 in the order. Frankie Francisco wiped out as a closer. There were injuries. And here they are, 4 games up in the AL West. Outside corner to Smoke. The rookie out of the University of South Carolina. Justin Smoke will foul one back this way. Justin hitless in his last 11 at bats, but he keeps doing some things that help you out. He'll draw walks. He's playing a pretty good first base. Breaking ball struck him out in a 1-2-3 inning for Ted Lilly. After a 34-pitch first inning, only 10 needed in the second. Ranger there. You can vote up to 25 times at TexasRangers.com. Cast your ballot now for your 2010 All-Stars. For only the second time, the Chicago Cubs are the visiting team here in Arlington. And a big Friday night crowd to welcome them. And sure, a lot of Cub fans are here, but being outshouted so far by the Ranger fans. Ryan Theriot rips one foul. Of course, the Cubs poached a couple of important Rangers for this 2010 season as they try to end that 102-year run of futility. Marlon Byrd in center, Rudy Jaramillo the hitting coach. Cubs have not been playing badly of late. Recently had a 4-game win streak. They're in what appears to be a winnable division. St. Louis not exactly running away. There's a base hit by Theriot. The other Chicago team, by the way, is struggling. The White Sox at 16-24. Theriot, boy, I tell you, Tom, here's a guy that's got only 5 extra base hits. But that is single number 48. That's why his batting average is up in the 3 teens.
Well, he's over the last 2 years, he's been almost a 300 hitter on average with very few extra base hits. Had his share of walks. Pretty good contact hitter, although his walks actually were down last year and his strikeouts were up significantly.
Theriot and Fontenot, we mentioned, played at LSU together, and here they are playing together with the Cubs. Those of the silent T. Lee with a rip and a miss. Derek Lee had a great year last year for the Cubs. 35 home runs, 111 runs batted in. Slugging percentage was up 120 points from the year before.
That's the most runs he's ever knocked in. He had 107 one other year. A year where he hit 46 home runs and 50 doubles to go along with it.
Strike 3, outside corner. Third strikeout for Colby.
And that is a strike right on the outside corner.
Can't even see number 2 because it's buried under number 3 right there. Now here is Soriano, his 7-time All-Star, rounding back into All-Star form here in 2010. Time called. Soriano's doing all this landscaping up there. You see Dan Ayasanga, the home plate umpire, basically say, hey, cut it out. Time to hit. Soriano, Tom, had only 8 home runs his last 88 games last year. But he's begun quickly here in 2010. He's got 7 home runs already. And what they've been saying about Soriano in Chicago the last couple of years, basically, he's been getting C- results at A+ talent.
He's getting A+ salary, I know that.
High fly ball center field.
Which probably makes his detractors even more upset.
Right.
That it's C+ performance out of A+ talent.
Marlon Byrd will bat next. And I think we can say Adam Marlon, whatever level he's got for talent, he gets more out of it. Yeah, I mean, that ratio kind of works the other way.
Yeah, no doubt. And you give Marlon talent whatever grade you want. I think it's better than most people would tend to give it when you look at the hustle, the defense, the way he throws, clutch hits he gets.
Keep scanning the crowd for the flapping of the arms, and you're just not seeing it. I think Ranger fans respect the fact that he's the opposition now. What an underground cult favorite kind of thing that was to do for a couple of years here, huh? All the fans would come out and see a big, hairy, 300-pound guy just flapping his arms for Marlon Byrd.
It was nice the way the fans got into that.
Slowly hit. Elvis Andrus has got it. Byrd always hustling, but he's out.
That's why Elvis picked it up and threw it quickly with something on it, because he knew Marlon would be hustling down the line.
It stays 1-0, bottom of the 3rd, coming up. Budweiser with full flavor and a crisp, clean finish. It's what we do. Rangers trailing the Chicago Cubs tonight 1-0. First of a 3-game series. Big crowds expected all the way. A 6 o'clock game tomorrow night. Nationally televised. Lefty Derek Holland will get the start, and then C.J. Wilson goes for the Rangers on Sunday.
Lilly used to throw a lot harder than he does now. He's 34 years old. He's had some arm problems, but he's still in good shape. And you know, who knows? He's got similar kind of stuff to Jamie Moyer. I'm sure he'd love to reinvent himself to be a Jamie Moyer kind of guy.
Pitch till he's 47.
If he does, he's about halfway through his career.
Lilly, originally Dodgers property, a 23rd round pick back in 1996. And they say the object of some good-natured ribbing from his teammates, Tom. Apparently GQ magazine will not be calling Lilly for a wardrobe photo shoot anytime soon.
Why is that?
Leads the league in Magnum PI shirts, they say. Max Ramirez down on strikes. Both pitchers starting to pick it up now. 6 straight retired by Lilly. 3 uncalled third strikes.
Yep, that's that cutter that comes back and catches the outside corner. Good pitch, backdoor pitch.
Now top of the order, Elvis Andrus. Strike 1. Most every team getting going with the interleague play tonight. The exception, the Braves and the Pirates. And young Jason Hayward, Thomas, hit home run number 9. The Braves lead the Pittsburgh Pirates 3-0 in the 3rd.
I need to talk to some of the scouts who saw him and try to figure out why that kid wasn't a top 3 pick in the draft. When you see how big and strong he is and the talent that he has, I can't believe he lasted that long into the 1st round.
Elvis down on strikes. Michael Young coming up. Toyota on the road. The American League / National League scoreboard is now 7-0 Atlanta as they move on to the 7th. Got the I-95 Beltway Series. Baltimore leads at Washington tonight. Battle for Ohio. Battle in New York. Michael Young drills one right center field. Fukudome runs it down.
What a nice play.
Michael Young continues to sting the baseball, but Fukudome stabs it in the alley. And the Rangers turned away. us all the scoring so far. We go to Julie Dobbs.
Yes, hi Josh. I am here with former Major League Baseball player Doug Glanville, who has actually played for the Rangers and the Cubs. What's this experience like for you being back here at the ballpark tonight?
This is like a double homecoming here. I mean, I played for both teams, came up with the Cubs, and in free agency I came over to Texas and had a good time before I was traded in July.
So you're here as a former baseball player, but you also are an author now. He wrote this book, The Game from Where I Stand, and we have a copy of it right here. There's lots of nice anecdotes from the eyes of a former player. One of the things that you included in here was being traded from one of these teams to the other, yes? What was that like?
No, it was tough. I was having a good July here in Texas, and John Hart, the GM, then said, we hate to do this to you. You're doing well, but we have to trade you. So he traded me to the Cubs, and it was a good year because I ended up getting in the playoffs that year.
So it ended up working out just fine for you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, I played one more year after that, and pretty soon I looked up and had an opportunity to write, and now I was able to get this book going.
There you go. And Doug will be here in the majestic Grand Slam gift shop behind center field signing the books for the rest of the game and after the game?
Oh, absolutely. I'll be here, so it's good to see everybody. And I see Colby Lewis on the mound, and I was here before he went to Japan, so it's good to see him get it together.
There you go. Well, we're glad to have you. Josh, we'll send it back to you.
All right. It's a great book, by the way, too. Doug played here in 2003. Mike Fontenot is going to foul one here. Now, Doug was supposed to be the Cubs center fielder of the future about a dozen or 13 years ago. Now, as everything kind of goes in a great big circle, Marlon Byrd going forward is the Cubs center fielder. A little bit outside, 2-2. Fontenot doubled and scored that one run that we had to talk about tonight. Wasn't really much of a double either. He wasn't even sure that ball was going to be fair off the bat. Hamilton gliding back, and he takes care of Fontenot.
Hadn't played very well, shading him around toward left field. Watching Fontenot swing, that probably the right place to play him. So kind of a line drive hitter, goes back through the middle with the ball.
The Cubs have not been winning low-scoring games. When they score fewer than 4 runs, they're 1-17. Had a 2-0 win against Atlanta, but that was it. Fouled by the X-Man, Xavier Nady.
One thing you like about Colby is he gets the ball. He doesn't leave the pitching rubber. He stays right on top of the mound, gets the ball, and gets ready to throw it again. Fielders like that.
Yes, sir, they do. The Rangers have played well behind Colby for the most part. The Cubs, meantime, they've had their issues defensively. They've allowed the most unearned runs in the National League. Another thing for Lou Piniella to get a bit grumbly about. Towards second, Kinsler's right there. 5 straight retired by Colby Lewis.
Like early in the game, Colby was throwing a lot of pitches. He was trying to make good pitches, but he was just missing out of the strike zone. And as the game has gone on, he's gotten a little more comfortable. Has a good rhythm going, throwing all his pitches for strikes now.
Giovanni Soto offered at that. Yeah, we've seen with Colby, when he gets into a groove, sometimes he stays in that groove for a little while. Twice this year, he has set down at least 14 in a row.
That pitch had to be a strike. I hate to grumble at the umpires. I'm still mad about that called strike to Josh Hamilton.
Well, I mean, potentially a game changer when you think about it. The Rangers had Lilly on the ropes in the first. Scoreless game at the time. Which one were you grumbly about? Number two?
Yeah. All the way in the zone. Not to mention number 3.
3-1 to Soto. Hangs high, apparently. The 30th walk of the year for Giovanni Soto. It brings up young Starlin Castro. I'll take you back to the 30th walk collected from Soto, or by Soto this year. That could have been a strike as well.
He threw him 5 pitches, 4 balls, and 1 strike, and 3 of them are in the strike zone. One of those pitches had to be a strike. One of the ones that was way out of the strike zone is the first pitch he swung at.
Castro's down 0-2. He's been a pretty good 2-strike hitter, though, in a short sample in the big leagues.
He's only struck out 5 times.
With 2 strikes on him so far, he's 8 for 17. 20-year-olds are not supposed to do stuff like that in the big leagues.
20-year-olds aren't supposed to be in the big leagues. Supposed to be in college.
The Cubs had a pretty good run with a young shortstop about a generation ago. Sean Dunston came up, not quite at 20, but kind of learned on the job, and he did fine. Poked, foul ground, Justin Smoke on the move, dropped it, and he felt that wall coming up. I think he was about to brace for contact, and then the ball just kind of fell out.
That's sharp, too. It's padded in the front. It's not padded right there, and that's concrete. And you don't have to go into that very hard to feel it. That was a little bit of a tougher play because he didn't have time to get there and wait for it. It wasn't hit high enough.
Lewis brings it. Hot shot. He caught it.
How did he catch that? His eyes were looking out to center field when he caught that ball.
That ball just happened to nestle into his glove, and he's very happy that it did. End of the inning. Still 1-0. Ball brought to you by Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota moving forward. And by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. Ted Lilly trying to retire 9 straight. Ian Kinsler on the move is safe. The ball gets away. Kinsler hightails it towards second, and the ball is in left field. Kinsler going to third. Will he make it? Yes, sir. The tying man at third base with nobody out.
You almost had a Little League home run. If Soriano picked it up and threw it away at third base, that would have been the ultimate Little League home run right there.
Somewhere Chico's bail bond sweeps. It's only 3 bases instead of 4.
Ian got a bad jump out of the box, and it gave Fontenot a chance to throw him out, but he threw it wildly. I'm sure that's going to go as, I think, an infield hit and a couple of errors.
Single, E5, following an E4.
That's an unusual play.
And Soriano, if he would have kicked it just a little further, that would have been an E7. Vlad Guerrero delivers left field over Soriano's head. It stays on the warning track. Kinsler trots home. It is 1-1 on a double by Vlad Guerrero. That's a lot of action in a short amount of time right there.
Lilly got Vlad to fly out to left the first time up, but that ball to left wasn't a fly ball. That was a rope.
Well, so much for Lilly retiring 8 straight. Kinsler is on, not for long. Vlad Guerrero doubles him in. RBI number 36 for Vlad. Hamilton showing bunt. Speeds down the line, and now at the very least the runner moves. Josh Hamilton.
You know, he was sacrifice bunting too there, and I give him credit for that because you got Nelly Cruz coming up next, and Josh is just doing something there to move the runner to third base, being a good teammate. I like that play right there. Generally, you'd say, I don't want Hamilton bunting. I want him swinging away. But, you know, you get a close game like this. You're trying to move the runner around. He's up there thinking, what can I do to help? It's out of the ordinary for Josh, but...
Well, it's his first sack bunt in 8 years.
Does that qualify as out of the ordinary?
I would say so.
Well, the other side of it is if he bunts it a little harder down the first baseline, he'd probably end up with a base hit, too.
And that may have been his intention anyway, but it's his first successful sack bunt as a major leaguer. Back in Bakersfield, California, Colby Lewis's hometown in 2002. Josh Hamilton, yes, had a sack bunt. Now he's got one tonight against the Cubs.
So I wouldn't get used to it. Don't expect it very often, but in that situation, I thought it was a good idea. But I think with a little luck, he might have gotten a base hit out of it.
Infield is in halfway for Chicago. The go-ahead man at third. And the guy already with 30 runs batted in. He's only played in 26 games. That's Nelly Cruz. Breaking ball hangs, and Nelson will foul it to the right.
Ball just stayed up a little bit. It was a little bit lower. I think he would have driven that to right field.
Ted Lilly, wheels and deals. Remember, Nelly had the game-winning sac fly the other night. This will be a go-ahead sac fly if he can just pop one to the outfield here. Well, remember, the Cubs have some guys who can throw out there. Soriano, Bird, and Fukudome. Right center field, that'll get it done. It's past Fukudome, bouncing to the wall. Cruz motors to second and stops. The Rangers have a 2-1 lead.
Fukudome must have thought that Joaquin Arias was batting. He was playing very shallow in right field. And I'm not sure why he was playing there. He had no chance to get to that ball. he's playing back, shading him around to pull a little bit, and deep as he should have, he probably would have been in position to catch that ball.
Cruz now with 31 runs batted in. Vlad Guerrero has 36. The Rangers have 2 men in the top 10 in the American League. Here's Murphy.
Well, you take 2 things into consideration with Cruz hitting: the power that he has, which I think makes you play a little deeper. And even though the ball is not shooting out to right center tonight, it still carries well. Put those 2 factors together, and kind of shocked to see Fukudome playing where he was.
Down too low and blocked by Soto. It's 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 error for the Rangers, 1, 4, and 2 for Chicago.
And because of those 2 doubles, both of those errors are insignificant when it comes time to figure out earned runs. They're both earned runs now. They would have scored anyway. Ian would have scored anyway.
On the ground to second base. Murphy now 0 for 2. Cruz trots to third. We mentioned the Rangers and Cubs play again tomorrow. It is a 6:10 first pitch. Derek Holland against Randy Wells. Then Sunday, C.J. Wilson up against the surprising Carlos Silva. Actually, Silva's only a surprise because of what's happened to him the last couple of years. If he had been 5-0, say, in 2006 or 2007, that's no big deal.
I think Seattle expected him to be that when they signed him for a huge contract.
Smoke will foul one. When Colby Lewis gets back on the mound, he'll get on the mound, having retired 6 of the last 7 he's faced. And for the first time tonight, he'll work with the lead. There have only been 5 games this entire season, Tag, where the Rangers have not led at some point. That's pretty amazing.
Well, as is the custom, this one's going to be another close one, it looks like. Certainly used to that.
About 80% of Ranger games this year are decided by 3 runs or fewer. Foul tip.
I want to thank Cliff and Sandra Proctor from Avery, Texas. Josh, they're the couple that brought up the giant batch of peanut brittle.
Yeah, we got a lot of peanut brittle.
Tooths up in our booth. Also, big happy birthday today to Angie Swint.
In the Rangers broadcast department.
Yes, sir. Happy birthday, Ange. I won't say how old you are because I don't know. 29, my guess is.
That's a good policy anyway. Just say 29. 1-2 the count to Smoke. Josh Hamilton's turning 29 today. That's legit. Not to suggest that Angie's 29 isn't legit. See, I've said too much already.
Nice going.
Thanks. Another foul from Smoke. Justin Smoke about to see an 8th pitch from Ted Lilly. Checking his swing. Against Theodore Roosevelt Lilly, named for our 26th U.S. president. I looked that up before the game.
I would have been very impressed if you knew that without looking it up.
He followed McKinley. There you go. shattered bat.
He hit that right off the cupped part of the bat, right off the edge of the top of the bat. You see that a lot with a cupped bat. You'll never see it with a bat that's not cupped. It'll just spin right off the top of that. But if you catch the edge of the cupped bat, that kind of force just splits the bat right down from the top of it. Really having to work to get out of this fourth inning.
Yeah, this will be a 10th pitch of the at-bat. Nelson Cruz hanging out at third. Justin Smoak pounds it towards center. Marlon Byrd started back, now trots in. He's got it. The Rangers, though, have grabbed the lead with 2 in the fourth. Colby Lewis back to work when we come back. In Las Vegas. For information and tickets, call 1-800-BLUE-MAN. Well, what a beautiful night at the ballpark tonight. Big crowd on a Friday night with the Cubs in town. Kosuke Fukudome top of the order against Colby Lewis. Two guys who passed each other. One going from the States to Japan, the other one going from Japan to the States in 2008. Kosuke wore that number 8 in Japan. He settled in nicely as number 1 for Chicago. See a lot of those jerseys when you're at Wrigley. Chopper to second, Kinsler to Smoke. The Cubs don't have many retired numbers, but they have retired Ron Santos number 10. And the hope when they did that is that it would remind all the Hall of Fame voters that there is a glaring omission in Cooperstown. You and I seem to talk about this every time we happen to take a look at the Cubs, but Ron Santo, in my mind anyway, Tag, maybe Bert Blyleven a close second, but the most glaring omission is a guy not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think it's a glaring omission from a player's perspective, and I think I mentioned this earlier. In my opinion, the most glaring omission from the Hall of Fame is Marvin Miller, not a player.
Yes, right.
For the impact that he had on the game, but certainly a lot of people feel that way about Ron Santo from a player's perspective.
Ronnie is 70 years old now. Sure doesn't look it.
70? Is he really?
Yeah.
Wow, he looks great. I guess he has to be for play when he did.
Well, and it was 50 years ago that he would come through this area playing the Fort Worth Cats. He was a member of the Houston Buffs. And we're looking at that team a little bit today. Enos Slaughter was the manager. And that team had Ron Santo, Billy Williams, and our old buddy Joe Macco led that team in home runs. It's a team with Billy Williams on it and Ron Santo. Joe Macco led with 27 home runs.
Yeah, Joe Macco is one of the most prolific minor league home run hitters ever. Never got his due opportunity to play in the big leagues, as that kind of a minor league career should have indicated.
Ron Santo was 20 when he was teammates with Joe. And yeah, as a big league player, 342 homers in an era dominated by pitchers. That ball into right center off the bat of Terrio, who's been a tough out tonight. Santos' career batting average tag was .277. That is 10 points higher than Hall of Fame third baseman Brooks Robinson and Mike Schmidt. And of course, Ron Santo won a bunch of Gold Gloves. And boy, is he passionate about his ball club. Unbelievable. Every loss is just heartbreak.
Kobe's in the one out in the fifth inning. He's already thrown 94 pitches. He needs a fairly quick end to this inning and then a decent sixth inning to end up with maybe 108, 109 pitches. He's averaging 108 pitches per 9 innings. That's the fifth most pitches in the league per game.
Got a chance to turn two here. Derek Lee, the batter. But of course, Derek Lee has a chance to put a jolt in a 1-2. Cubs out hitting the Rangers 5-4. That one's on the corner to Lee. So looked at one out there for strike 3 in the third.
You have to think after that one that if he throws one maybe 4 inches farther outside, he might get Lee to swing at it.
He swings.
Try the high hummer.
And down he goes. D. Lee has struck out twice.
I made him aware of that breaking ball outside and then came in with a 91-mile-an-hour high fastball. He got strike 3. It's not where he was trying to throw it. You can see Max with his glove down and away. Ended up to be very effective, though.
Now Soriano, who is 0 for 2. On the ground to third. Michael Young goes to Kinsler to end the inning. And Colby Lewis has 5 in the books. He's got a 2-1 lead. Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. And boy, what a night at the ballpark tonight. There is no stadium that looks better, all filled up. And a crowd of probably about 40,000 here tonight to watch the Rangers host the Chicago Cubs. Big crowd here tomorrow expected too. Tickets still remain though. 972 Rangers, the number to call if you want to get in on that. 6:10 the first pitch tomorrow. Max Ramirez leads off here and will pop one into foul ground. Derek Lee on the move. He's got it. Do players notice, Tag? They must. When there's 40-odd thousand people and there's a buzz in the ballpark as opposed to when there's 18,000?
Definitely. You know, players play as hard as they can every night, whether there's 1,000 people or 50,000 people. But I don't think you can help but get that little extra pump of adrenaline when you've got a big vocal crowd that makes the game even more exciting. I think any player would say that. Love playing in front of a big crowd, especially at home.
I think when you're in your backyard as a kid, you know, and you make that little fake crowd noise going, you know, and all that, you're not faking the sound of just a few people watching it. You know,
no.
you want din. Andrews trying to dunk one, but Marlon Byrd on approach will put it away.
Tough to dunk one in front of Marlon, boy, because he's going to come quickly, as hard as he can, and dive if he has to.
Michael Young has hit the ball real hard twice tonight, has a 1 out of 2 to show for it. Interleague play is always agreed with Michael Young. Check your Ford leaderboard. Michael is the one guy on this Rangers team right now that actually was with the Rangers the 1 year that they played at Wrigley, 2002. Towards right, base hit. He's done it again.
Michael's had a good at bat every time up. The only out that he's made tonight was a beautiful running catch by Fukudome in right center field on a line shot. Probably the best ball he's hit all night.
Career base hit number 1717 for Michael Young. All of them as a Ranger.
Michael's got Lily figured out. He's fouling off the fastball and just waiting well on the off-speed pitch. Not jumping at it and just going the other way with it right there.
Kinsler's been on base twice already. We'll have a chance with Michael Young at first. Rangers already up 2-1. Now, last at bat for Kinsler, we probably should have had Yakety Sax playing in the background, the Benny Hill theme music. Just a little comebacker, and somehow Kinsler ended up at third base.
Well, they had a chance to get him twice, once at first and once at second, but errant throws allowed him to get to third and score a run.
That ball lofted into the crowd. Rangers getting the 2 runs last inning after the Cubs scored on a double play bouncer in the second. The Rangers trying to make it 5 straight wins and build on their 4-game lead in the AL West. One thing that doesn't seem real fair in the grand scheme, I guess, Tom, that you have to look at. The Rangers are in a division with 4 teams in it. The Cubs are in a division with 6. Meaning the Rangers have to be better than 3 teams. The Cubs have to be better than 5.
Yep, not much you can do about that. That's the way it's aligned right now. 16 teams in the National League, 14 teams in the American League. And as long as it stays that way, there's not much you can do about that.
Vlad Guerrero waits on deck. And Vlad has already collected an RBI tonight. Has 36 for the year. Well, the Angels are missing that. Kinsler rockets one to foul. No, Vladdy's only 2 off the league lead now. Miguel Cabrera's got 38. Evan Longoria 37, and then Vladdy 36.
The Ranger hitter is starting to get on Ted Lilly right now. Earlier in the game, he had him off balance, but from the start of the 4th inning to now, there's been a lot of good swings at him.
On 2-2 again. Kinsler with another foul ball.
I'm going to make the unorthodox call right here.
On a 2-2 count, really?
In the middle of an at-bat.
Yeah, usually you do it as the guy's coming up. But you're hot right now.
Pull a Ron Washington right here. I've got a hunch. I got a gut feeling right here. I got to go with it. Maybe unorthodox. Well, I got to go with it.
Well, ride your own hot hand. I mean, weren't you on the board yesterday with the call?
We're 1-1 early in the season this year. We might have a high-scoring affair this year. Someone might get up to 2.
The 2-2 pitch. Taken. Yeah, I can't imagine Lilly wants to face Guerrero with 2 men on. Something to swing at here for Kinsler coming. Runner's going to get going. Kinsler does swing. It's another foul ball.
Long at bats this inning.
Lilly's up to 91 pitches. He's only in the 5th inning. Going to be a 10-pitch at bat here for Kinsler. Michael Young's already had a 10-pitch at bat tonight himself.
And Smoke had one in the 4th inning.
3 10-pitch at bats for the Rangers tonight. Kinsler takes a walk instead. I'm going to borrow your mojo, but I'm going old school and calling it right now.
Okay.
Vlad Guerrero about to hit number 10.
I should have kept mine quiet. I think Lilly somehow got the karma and said I can't give him anything good to hit right there. So that's probably my fault. Because it really was going to happen.
Blame tag. Anything goes wrong, global warming, lose your keys, tag's fault.
Well, it's either me or Ron Washington.
His seat is always going to be hotter than
any manager. That's not fair to say. Any manager's in the hot seat. Vlad wants to swing bad boy.
He really wants to, but not when it's up at his neck.
Well, they have to really pitch to get out of this one. Got the first 2 outs. And now he's got Vladdy with a couple of men on.
Lunging at it. You and I both go over on the call game tonight.
That's okay.
Vlad pops out. 2 men left. 2-1 Rangers at the end of 5.
A lot of fun promotions coming up over the weekend. Tomorrow night, note the early start time. It's a 6:05 start versus the Cubs, and the first 20,000 fans to come out to the ballpark will receive this 2010 Texas Rangers yearbook. And then after the game, there's a Wade Bowen concert presented by Budweiser. You won't want to miss that. Free with your ticket. And then on Sunday, our promotion is this awesome Texas Rangers pillowcase that my friend Adam is showing us. It's just about as big as Adam is, if not bigger. The first 8,500 fans 13 and under will receive that pillowcase. Wave, Adam. Wave to the camera. Yay! Come out to the ballpark this weekend and make sure and enjoy all of these great gifts. Josh,
all right, Julie.
Back to you.
Thank you very much. Nice promotional items this weekend, and a nice opponent in town, the Chicago Cubs. Marlon Byrd, the former Ranger, very popular Ranger, is behind 0-2. Colby Lewis has only given up one run. It was on a double play. And the Rangers have done just enough against Ted Lilly. It's a 2-1 game. Marlon takes outside just barely.
Good eye right there. Marlon didn't. That was a strike. I thought so. Marlon didn't swing at that because he was fooled by the fastball.
Swings a little late right there. Colby's still throwing 90.
And Colby's got Marlon aware of the breaking ball. He struck out on several of them the first time up, then grounded out to short on a slider down and away. So that's in the back of Marlon's mind right here. You got to lay off that slider down and away. And the result was Colby snuck a fastball by him, just didn't get the call.
Byrd to Michael Young, and you really do see it. All the Rangers are so aware. You got to get rid of it right away when Marlon is running.
I'm sure that's something they reminded each other of in the infield. Hey, look, when Marlon hits it, don't take it for granted. He's going to bust it down to first. We got a second, Josh. We want to thank our friends at MR Pigs.
Boy, do we.
Cafe in Ida Bell, Oklahoma. Melody and Russ, thank you very much. A veritable feast of barbecue tidbits. They're actually providing the post-game spread for the Cubs tonight. And we just got lucky because we got some of the extras that they had. I want to thank Crystal. She made the chocolate raspberry little cheesecake delights. What a great night at the ballpark.
This might be an all-timer. If the Rangers actually end up winning this game, and we are getting really fat on barbecue tonight.
Big crowd, barbecue, peanut brittle.
Yeah, life's good. And we can't promise you the barbecue necessarily tomorrow. But as Julie Dobbs was talking about, you've got a Wade Bowen concert when you come here tomorrow. You've got yearbooks for the first 20,000 fans. Bouncing ball, Justin Smoke to the bag. Mike Fontenot is out.
Well, Colby really settled down. After the first inning, he threw 30 pitches. Second inning, they hit the ball hard off him, but he got a big double play. Only gave up one run. And since that time, he's only given up a couple of singles, both of them line drives to right center field by Theriot. And settled down and really pitched well. And hopefully going to get through the sixth inning right here, and right around his average. He's at 106 pitches right now. His average is 108.
Every game's been at least 103.
Yeah.
Now the Rangers got 6 out of Scott Feldman yesterday on a night that it looked like he'd have to battle to get 5. Nady floats it foul. And Darren O'Day getting ready. The Rangers would prefer to have him out there in the 7th. A fly ball to left off the bat of Xavier Nady. No problem at all for David Murphy. 2-1 Texas tonight. Bottom of the 6th coming up. Jackpot worth $900 and dinner for two at Sonic. Good luck to Brady Mast from the Colony. If a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, we're giving away $25,000. A very exciting dot race that just finished up at the ballpark. All the dots lunging for the tape. Red prevailed. It was close. This game is close. It is 2-1 Rangers. And on Josh Hamilton's 29th birthday tonight, he will head up there against Ted Lilly. His pitch count is high. Hamilton grounds it to first. Lilly calls for it. 1 up, 1 down. Braves have defeated the Pirates in the one non-intra-league game tonight, 7-0 Atlanta. Tim Hudson goes to 5-1. The Reds are leading the Indians 7-4 tonight. Shin-Soo Choo, a couple home runs for the Tribe. But Cincinnati's on top 7-4. The Reds having a surprisingly really nice year. Half a game out of first in the NL Central. Nelson Cruz line shot it right at the Riot.
That waited, looked like he waited on it well, but he still hit it right off the end of the bat.
Ryan Theriot just plucks it out of the air for out number 2.
A little change up that Nelly was just a little bit out in front of.
Baltimore leading Washington tonight 4-3. Adam Jones and Willie Harris have traded home runs, each man hitting number 4. Phillies lead the Red Sox 5-1. Boston at 22-20 is 8.5 games out in the AL East. White Sox pounding the Marlins tonight, 8-0. That's in the 7th inning. Yankees lead the Mets 2-0 tonight in the 8th. Murphy, a one bouncer to Lee. Lilly covers again. And the Rangers down in order. The battle between Lilly and Lewis has resulted in a 2-1 score tonight at the end of 6. AT&T Rapid Rewind. AT&T Rapid Rewind. Colby Lewis going 6 innings. And now we'll hand the ball to Darren O'Day. The Ranger bullpen, for the most part, has been outstanding. A little bit of a wobble last night. Once again, see what's new from AT&T. Visit AT&T for details.
Yeah, Chris Ray, Darren O'Day, Darren Oliver, Frankie, Neftali, and little one-inning stints very frequently have been really good. Dustin's been pitching well. He's had to pitch a lot. He's had a couple of outings where control has hurt him, but for the most part, he's thrown the ball well. And Guillermo had a tough outing last night, but he hadn't pitched in a week. You can't use that as an excuse when you're in the big leagues as a bullpen guy. You have to be ready when it's your turn. But he was pitching really well in the minor leagues, and I know he's a lot better than the way he pitched last night.
Darren O'Day, as of right now, Tom, has thrown 72% of his pitches this year for strikes.
Wow.
57% is about average. He's at 72.
Well, this should be a high fastball. That's kind of his modus operandi.
There you go, and nice word, by the way.
He likes to get it. I read that somewhere, and then my wife told me how to pronounce it. He likes to get ahead with his slider, and many times he'll get you to swing at that pitch. Soto, though, as we mentioned, he's walked 20 to 30 times this year. He's probably the least likely to swing at that pitch, but might swing at the slider.
Got any more Latin for us, or?
At tu, Brute.
Soto down on strikes.
Or I could drop a little amo, amasamata, mama, samata, samat on you.
Wow, and you just did. That was pretty good. How about Vene Vidi Vici?
Wendy Weedy Wiki?
I like Vene Vidi Visa. They came, they saw, they went shopping. Starlin Castro twice tonight has hit the ball back near the pitcher. Lined one right into the glove of Colby Lewis in the fourth. In for, another strike from Darren O'Day.
Been looking at some of the numbers for the Cubs relievers.
I'm sorry.
The one guy you don't want to face, Carlos Marmol.
Yeah.
20 innings, 40 strikeouts.
Yeah.
I thought it was a misprint.
Nope. All their Carloses are doing pretty well, except for Zambrano. He's going to be going back into the rotation before too long. They farmed him out to be part of that bullpen for now. Poked towards center field. Hamilton lines it up, and he's got it. We saw Marmol kind of burst on the scene here.
Yeah, we did.
At the ballpark 3 years ago. We marveled at the time about Marmol and said...
He had some kind of slider that day, boy.
We said, how is this guy not a closer? And now he is.
And he was. He became one.
Top of the order now, Kosuke Fukudome, two-time batting champion in Japan. And a very identifiable stance, too. Holds that bat up high.
Boy, he was just throwing that slider everywhere, anywhere he wants tonight. 8 pitches, 7 strikes. The only ball he threw on purpose. That was the high fastball, kind of a waste pitch, hoping Soto would swing at it. Other than that, every pitch has been a slider for a strike.
Ahead 0-2, getting close to the 7th inning stretch. And unlike at Wrigley, we don't have celebrity singers here, but if you want to, Tag, you could, conduct and lead.
You think that's a simple song till you have to sing it in front of 40,000 people with no musical accompaniment, and you find out, number one, it's not that simple, and number two, how bad you really sing. At least I do. You would have no problem. I would have a big problem.
That one is outside to Fukudome.
That'd be a good one for the triple play. You could lead the whole audience and
take me out to the ball game. And then you could lead them in the Ramones.
Yes.
He got him. Darren O'Day struck him out.
That guy can pitch.
Like the song says, O'Day, 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 O'Day. 2-1 Rangers at the stretch. brought to you tonight by Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, moving forward. Close to 39,000 here tonight. More than that expected tomorrow night. Beautiful night. Nice, crisp 2-1 ball game. We get to the bottom of the 7th. Justin Smoke against Ted Lilly. And the very first one he sees is popped up for Soto, who's got it. Lilly trying to make it 3 straight games now with 7 innings in the books. Each of the last 2 games he allowed 3 runs. Tonight he's allowed only 2. And he's losing.
He's had to close fast to get through 7 innings. He started out with a lot of pitches in the first inning, had a lot of pitches in the 4th inning, including a 10-pitch at bat to Smoke to end the 4th inning. But since that time, he's been much more efficient. Give him credit out there in the 7th inning. A lot of strikes, 71 strikes, 31 balls.
Max Ramirez to right field. And Fukudome's got it. 6 straight. Next Ranger homestand, we're looking at June 4th through the 6th with Tampa Bay coming to town. And note that the Saturday game now, June 5th, is moved to a day game, 3:10 in the afternoon. Friday night, June 4th, post-game fireworks, and it's sing-along music. Like Mitch Miller kind of stuff, I'm told. First 20,000 fans 14 and older Saturday get a Red Rangers t-shirt that's presented by Coca-Cola. And again, Friday is fireworks. Sunday, June 6th, first 8,500 fans 13 and under get an Ian Kinsler red jersey. 972 Rangers, the number to call to get your tickets. It'll be our first look this year at Tampa Bay, which right now is the belle of the ball. They are 30 and 11. Tied tonight, though, down in Houston, 1-1. 6th inning. Elvis Andrus face hit in the center. What do you figure? Elvis running at some point here?
Well, I think if he feels like he can get a jump, he'd certainly have the green light to go right here. Love to see him get in scoring position for Michael, who's hot right now. A couple of hits tonight. Michael's got his average up to 318. He's had to be hot to get it up to 318 as quickly as it's jumped up there. I'm sure Lilly will throw over there, or at least try to make it hard for Elvis.
We saw yesterday, Tom, 17 different half innings, if you will. And we saw a pitching coach on the mound in 13 of them. Tonight, here we are in the 14th half inning. We have not seen a pitching coach yet.
That's interesting.
Just another way to say that the pitching's better tonight. Frankie Francisco getting ready in the Ranger bullpen. Carlos Zambrano has begun to get loose for Chicago. Michael Young now 30 hits away from tying Pudge Rodriguez on the all-time Ranger hit list. Boy, and those hits are coming fast and furious from Michael over the last couple of weeks, averaging about 2 per game. Runner goes. Soto throws, and Elvis Andrus has second base.
Well, he got a good look at him. He threw over to first base twice. He saw a pitch to the plate, figured he had the move read, and he was right.
indeed. A base hit by Michael Young can make it 3-1 Rangers. Lilly missing outside. Kinsler on deck.
We just have the feeling that Michael has Lilly figured out tonight. No matter what he throws him, he can't fool him. Hasn't. I won't say he can't, but he hasn't fooled him tonight.
Up in the count now, 3-1 is Michael Young.
Lilly's at 110 pitches. It'll be interesting to see what Lou Piniella does if he walks Michael Young with right-handed hitter Ian Kinsler coming up next. Lilly threw 109 pitches in his last start. That's the most he's thrown this year.
He has just allowed his third walk of the game.
I think Lilly kind of felt like Michael was right on him and just didn't want to give a chance to Michael to knock in that third run.
Sweet Lou on his way out. And Carlos Zambrano could be on his way in. Lou points. He wants the righty. And it's bye-bye for Mr. Lilly. 2-1 Rangers. 2 down, bottom 7. We'll come right back. For the Junior Rangers Club, presented by Dr. Pepper. That's the Rangers Kids Fan Club. You get 8 ticket vouchers, access to some members-only events, a drawstring bag, and a banner. To sign up, very easy. Just go to TexasRangers.com/Junior Rangers. With 2 men on, 2 men out, bottom of the 7th. The talented but so puzzling Carlos Zambrano will take the mound now. 6'5", 250-pounder. And a surprising 6.75 ERA that's got him banished to the bullpen for now. Although, again, there are plans to move him back in the rotation soon.
Yeah, for the money he's making, you just can't justify having him as a middle reliever. But he's been getting bombed this year. 325 average against him, 5 home runs.
Runners are going right away on him. Soto throwing to third. Too late. Double steal. Right away, the Rangers just decide to run on big Carlos Zambrano. 2 steals in the inning for Elvis. He's got 17 for the year now.
That's a good time to go when a pitcher just comes into the game. He's really not in tune to the base runner, especially when they're on first and second.
Fukudome marches in. The Rangers will strand 2. And at the end of 7, it's the Rangers by a run. to start the fourth inning. The Rangers scored twice in that inning. That's all the Ranger run scoring tonight. The Cubs have only scored one run. That was on a double play ball. 2-1 into the eighth in front of a crowd of close to 40,000 tonight. And now Frankie Francisco is summoned from that Ranger bullpen. In this large gathering, we'll see if Frankie can keep throwing the ball as he's been throwing it over the last, say, 2 weeks instead of the first 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah, Frankie's last 3 or 4 outings have been the old Frankie. Good velocity with his fastball, but more importantly, good command with it. And then I guess just as importantly, a splitter and a curveball that he's been throwing very effectively. Early in the season, he didn't have his off-speed pitches, and he didn't have command with his fastball. And it was tough going for him. But last 3 or 4 times, he's been back to normal. Hopefully, it'll continue today.
Ryan Theriot fouls one. Rangers 6 outs away from a 7-game home winning streak. And they really are in the process, it feels like anyway, Tom, of turning this place into a home field advantage for themselves. 10 out of 11 in the win column at home now, and you mentioned earlier they got the best record in the majors right now at home overall.
Yep, that's great to see. And it's not just because they've been blasting the ball and outscoring people. They've been pitching well in this ballpark, and most of the games have been close games. It's not just winning 9-6 games and 8-5 games. A lot of the games have been similar to this.
Aberration was last night, that 13-7 flashback. Did he? Yes, sir.
2 fastballs and a splitter.
Tough part of the order for Frankie Francisco to be assigned. 2-3-4. But it starts well.
And Theriot doesn't walk very much, but he also doesn't strike out very much. And he definitely swung. Good call by the home plate umpire, Dan Ayasagna.
Derek Lee has not put the ball in play yet tonight. That scares you a little bit. He's due to do something. 2 strikeouts and a walk. I think it is kind of nice now where, I mean, the Cubs don't come here often at all. They've only been here for 1 series ever. And I'm sure they're thinking, all right, we get to come to a place that's real hitter friendly. You grow up watching Rangers slugfest all the time. Then you get here and it's, oh, wait, their pitching is good now.
Sometimes you get the jet stream and sometimes you don't. I don't think there's much of a jet stream tonight.
In for a strike, 2 and 2.
And there it is. Good velocity, good location. Right on the knees, right on the outside corner. Right where he wanted to throw. Number 4.
Soriano on deck. And so far tonight, that very tough 3-4-5 part of the Chicago order is hitless. Foul tip.
Good pitch. He threw back-to-back splitters there. One was low, and he just barely got a piece of that one. Just hit the top of the ball.
Nothing yet where Lee can get his arms extended. Everything kind of middle in. Towards second, Kinsley's got it.
He was ready to jump and then realized he didn't have to. You know who's warming up out in the Cubs bullpen, don't you?
That would be Jeff Russell's son.
James, yes, sir. Well, can't wait to see James pitch.
There's a jam sandwich right there for Derek Lee. Yeah, Jeff Russell, of course, a Ranger pitcher of some renown. His son, former Colleyville star, now part of the Cubs bullpen, and he's warming for Chicago now. What a thrill that would be for him to come in.
I'll say.
Marshall is up now, too. Looks like James has sat down. Former teammates, buddies. Soriano against Frankie. A base hit as it skids by Michael Young. Soriano was thinking about going to second. Now he comes back, and it's Marlon Byrd who will have a chance for Chicago.
That's a case where Michael is guarding the line so that Soriano can't pull the ball right down the line. In fact, he's on the line. And he had a chance to get to that ball. Unfortunately, right when he gets there, watch the bounce that this ball takes. And it just skips right over Michael's glove. There's nothing he could do on that one.
Soriano with speed. The Chicago base runner, and here is Marlon Byrd. Bouncing ball again under Michael Young. Again, Michael was guarding the line, and again, the ball skips right through. And now the go-ahead man is on base. And for the first time, there will be a visit from a pitching coach tonight. Mike Maddox out to talk to Frankie.
Yeah, and I think what you say to Frankie right here is just keep doing what you're doing. You're not doing anything wrong. You've gotten 2 ground balls to third base, but in the alignment the Rangers are in, they ended up being base hits. Now Michael, well, it's a left-hand hitter anyway, but with a man on second, you wouldn't play quite that far over because you don't want to give up a base hit in the tying run.
Darren Oliver has gotten up in the Rangers bullpen. Now the Cubs fans and Ranger fans are in a little bit of a shouting war. Oliver has not been warming up for long at all. And it looks like Frankie will stay out there to face the lefty swinging Fontenot. Two on, 2 out. To left field. And foul. Fontenot has only struck out 8 times this year. Puts it in play.
And he's going to put the ball in play. He's probably not going to drive the ball to left field. So you can afford to play him toward the line and a little bit shallower than you'd play a normal left-hand hitter because he doesn't have power, but he's a good line drive contact hitter.
Frankie Francisco has thrown 14 pitches. 11 of them have been strikes. In there, strike 2.
Got the ball on the high strike.
It gets away from Max Ramirez. Boy, and Soriano had a thought, too. The wild pitch on 0-2. It is now 1-2. And a little base hit somewhere could give Chicago the lead now.
Well, the Rangers had men on second and third. 2 outs in the 7th. And Zambrano got Kinsler. Well, the Cubs return the favor, second and third. Couple of outs, and Frankie's trying to get Fontenot right here to get out of the inning.
Oh, he got a piece. We mentioned Fontenot was tough to strike out.
He just barely hit the top of that ball.
He got him! To the bottom of the eighth, the Rangers still on top 2-1. Vlad Guerrero takes a strike from the big Z, Carlos Zambrano. And this crowd still buzzing about how the top of the eighth came to an end. Bouncing ball towards second. Frankie Francisco matched up against Mike Fontenot. Very tough guy to strike out. But down goes Fontenot.
Well, Fontenot didn't like the call. Piniella didn't like the call, but that pitch is a strike. In fact, if you look at number one, that was the high breaking ball that Fontenot thought was high, and that was actually a strike, too. So, no complaining there. Those were good pitches.
Hamilton with his first major league sacrifice bunt tonight in a tight 2-1 game. Now sends one in the air to left. Soriano back and back and back, and it's over his head. Remember, he didn't want to play left field here in Arlington, right?
Now I see why he didn't want to play left field. Turn that out into a double.
Well, that could be a huge play because now the Rangers have the insurance possibility. Runner in scoring position, just one out. That ball just ate him up.
He got turned around, and then he tried to backpedal, and I think the ball was slicing away from him. He turned out. He didn't even come close to that ball. That's a good athlete out there, but he didn't look like it on that play.
He runs backwards well. I mean, just didn't get there in time. Here's Nelly Cruz. Neftali Felice getting ready in that Ranger bullpen. He's been electric. Well, what a 1-2 punch Francisco and Feliz are turning into right now. They have flip-flopped innings. It was supposed to be Feliz in the 8th, Francisco in the 9th this year.
Well, Zambrano throws a hard sinker, heavy sinker, but one thing he appears to be lacking is the velocity that he used to have in his heyday. He used to reach 93, 94, sometimes a little higher.
He had a no-hitter a couple of years ago.
It's more like 89 and 90 today.
Soto's got it, out number 2. Tonight, TXA 21 North Texas Honda Dealer of the Game, Jim McNatt Honda North in Denton, located off I-35 in Denton, or go to jimmcnattHondaNorth.com. David Murphy now will try to cash in to Hamilton. The hefty Mr. Zambrano will put it to the outside corner. When he first came up, he was actually real skinny. In fact, they say the scout that initially signed Zambrano, Tom, included this in his report on him. He said, this kid needs to learn how to open a refrigerator. That's how he put it. And apparently he's learned.
I think there's been times where the Cubs have thought he was heavy, but he looks good right now. I mean, he's a big guy, obviously, but he's in good shape.
He was only 20 when he won his first major league game.
The other thing is he is a fierce competitor.
Oh, you just watch him go at it. I mean, he's a big, hulking.
He looks like he wants to fight every second he's out there, boy.
He's got a neck like a football left tackle. And a sinister look about him. You're right. Murphy flips it along towards third, hustling down the line. He is out to end the inning. And now, with the Rangers up 2-1, 3 outs left to get tonight against the Cubs. Baseball brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. By Standard Insurance, call 1-800-929-2424. And by AT&T. See what's new from AT&T. Visit att.com for details. Only the second ever series the Cubs have played here in Arlington, and it's off to a really fun, exciting start tonight. The Rangers 2 runs, 7 hits. The Cubs 1 run on 7 hits, and young Neftali Feliz will get out there and try to nail down save number 12. Only 4 walks, 23 strikeouts for Feliz. Neftali, having just turned 22 about 2 or 3 weeks ago, will now have the veteran catcher back there, Matt Trainer. It's an all-new battery for the Rangers. And the Cubs have the bottom third of their order coming up. Tyler Colvin has grabbed a bat. It looks like he will be ready to pinch hit after Xavier Nady steps in there. Nady's a guy that can absolutely step into one. He's a guy that you do fear a little bit. Takes a big swing. In fact, he had a home run late here as a New York Yankee not too long ago to tie a game. Only one home run for him this year, and a batting average of just .214. And for the Cub fans who are here tonight, only because their team is here, if they don't know about Neftali Feliz, well, they're going to look up at that radar gun reading in just a moment, and they will know. .95 is a starter to Nady. Outfielders are very deep. That one smacks in there for a strike. .95, and he swings right through it. It's 1-2. High cheese 3 times. Bouncing ball towards Kinsler. Tricky hop, and he's got it. 1 out.
Tricky hop makes it look easy. There to get the first guy throwing strikes. One thing Frankie did was he navigated right through the middle of the lineup. Soriano and Bird got hits, and he got Fontenot, so it's going to be the 7, 8, and 9 hitters. This is a pinch hitter right here.
Got 24-year-old Tyler Colvin, who had a fantastic spring training to make this team. He was mostly single A and double A a year ago. 13th overall pick in the 2006 draft. Pinch hitting for Soto. It is Colby Lewis's game to win. He went the first 6. Darren O'Day, Frankie Francisco, and now Feliz providing solid relief. By the way, the Angels are getting smoked tonight in St. Louis. Rangers could pick up another game on LA. Mid-90s instead of upper 90s so far for Neftali. He had to pitch last night in a game where it sure didn't look like he'd be needed.
No, he's been in a lot of games. This is his 22nd game. But most of the time, it's fairly short stints. Last night it was just a couple of pitches.
The first time he went back-to-back, it did not go well. It's a game where he gave up his 2 home runs, the only 2 he's allowed all year. But since then, when he's been asked to pitch on consecutive days, that second day has gone just fine. Tag to right field. Colvin is right on it. And he's on his way to second base. Got to make sure he doesn't get to third. He will stop at second with a 1-out double.
Well, he threw him an off-speed pitch. You know, he was hanging in there against the fastball, but he was a little bit late on the fastball. And then when you throw an off-speed pitch, that was an 88-mile-an-hour pitch. It's a changeup. That allows him to get out in front of the ball, get the bat on the ball, and that's why he was able to pull that ball down the right field line.
Starlin Castro, the 20-year-old now, is going to come up against the 22-year-old Feliz with the game on the line. You add these guys up, they're 5 years younger than former Cub and former Ranger Jamie Moyer. And these two youngsters will help decide it here. Top of the order, Kosuke Fukudome on deck. Little outside. Castro's debut game, he had 6 runs batted in. Three and out. Last year when Feliz first came up, he was 41 batters into his big league career before he allowed a walk. He's allowed only 4 this year. To right field again from Starlin Castro. Nelly Cruz leaping, and he's got it! He'll fire it in. Colvin takes third. Up against the wall in the corner. And it's 2 out here in the 9th.
That's a nice play right there by Nelly. That's not easy when you have to run pretty much full speed toward foul territory here, because the wall is right past the foul line. And so he knows he's going to hit the wall. He jumps into the wall and makes the catch right at the same time. That's not easy.
Now it's Fukudome against Feliz.
This is right up there with opening day as far as big crowd, late inning excitement goes.
Strike 1. And now he's throwing 97.
Fukudome didn't like that call.
Was up too high. The tying man at third. The Rangers trying to make it 7 straight wins at home. And trying to get to a season high 7 games over 500. Fouled away. And 39,000 fans now watch, standing up. up and outside. Fukudome is the Cubs' best hitter with runners in scoring position and the best they have with 2 strikes.
Back of that same pitch as the first one. 98 miles an hour right in on the fist.
Outside instead. Ryan Terrio on deck. Andrews is ready. Ball game.
Well, that's a great win for the Rangers right there. You sneak 2 runs in the 4th inning. Get a couple of doubles, one by Guerrero, one by Cruz, and then the pitching hangs on. Kobe Lewis really pitched well toward the end of his stint, and then the bullpen does it again. 3 relievers, 3 zeros, and Neftali finishes it off for an excellent win in front of a huge crowd.
Back to wrap it up in just a moment.